Yo!
Yayo Talk Show!
Dreamin'!
Don't give it up, Molly.
Dreamin'!
Don't give it up, Marco.
Dreamin'!
Don't give it up, Katie.
Dreamin'!
Al's name didn't fit. They talk about the show, this group of four friends been going for 1,000,000 years, there's no end. Watching every arc and saga, no sleep. It's the king of anime, 1,000 episodes deep.
Yayo Talk Show!
Talking about One Piece.
It's the name of the podcast.
We're not on Vine. Yayo Talk Show. Talking about
One Piece.
What's up, wenches, privateers, and non-binary buccaneers? Welcome aboard the most chaotic One Piece podcast on the Grand Internet. Look, we've been saying that line for 40 episodes plus, and if you don't think that that's the case, you're wrong. I was going to say something like kind of poignant, just like to start this episode. The art of long-form storytelling in animation has very few examples of setting high expectations and not only meeting them, but blowing past them. And the Wano arc of One Piece continues to show how extensive the meaning of every line, every panel, and every frame can be. Now that serious part's out of the way, let me introduce you to some goofs.
Well, hold on. What you said was very, very poignant and very important. It's like it really does blow people away. So if you want to get yourself blown by anime, then One Piece is the place to start. Okay. Anyway, sorry to ruin your excellent moment. Hi.
It's tantric, but before we talk about that, let's introduce the crew.
Yay!
It's the captain of the Chrono Pirates, Molly D. Simby.
42 episodes and we've come to this.
42.
Molly, just in case you were wondering, yes, Mark, Al, and I planned a blowjob joke for episode 42 way back at episode 0.
Well, I assumed it was also when I went to the bathroom the other day and you guys chose a title without me.
Yeah, no, it's exactly the same thing. We planned this.
We chose the intro to 2 episodes from then.
Yeah,
in that moment while you were gone.
We did do that,
Choose
though.
not to decide. You still have made a choice. And,
Before Kate had even read those chapters, I knew it.
Unless
I had a feeling. I knew it.
Unless
I also introduced the wild theorist Kate and Jensen.
Hey, what's up? Unless you actually do introduce me. I'm here. I'm queer. Get used to it. And passing it back to Mark.
Hey, it's my ball. I have the ball now, and I'm passing the ball to the laugh ball. The laugh board. Albert Cullen Jr.
Wait a second.
Wow, the ordeal of
what an
helping
ordeal.
Paul.
But yeah, I'm here.
Do you think we're ever gonna get away from the ordeal of balls?
No.
I will never allow that. I will never. You'll never get away from that.
It was your ordeal.
Yeah, it was yours. You were
Molly
upset about
enjoys
it.
reliving the trauma.
Al said balls like 100 times, and I'm not.
There's
not
so
gonna
many
laugh.
balls. To be fair, there's like 100 balls on screen, so he was probably counting them all.
Counting them all.
Gotta count them all.
Counting them ball?
Yeah, counting them ball. I'm the internet's gentleman, Mark Budonica. The B stands for balls. Anyway, let's
Whoa! I knew
talk
it.
about.
No, Molly.
Every time I say something different, you always say I knew it, and it gets me every
it.
time.
Molly has a
remember that
really
time-
long list, like just receipt tape in
And
her
they're
room.
all right.
And she's been crossing off names this entire time.
Do you remember that time that we went to Knott's Berry Farm and Molly asked what the B stood for, and
I was
we died?
Being polite.
She meant for real?
I wanted
She
the
meant
real
for
one.
No, really,
was-
what is your middle name?
It was like perfectly timed because it was
It's
at
balls.
the end of a conversation, and I took a sip of beer, and then I turned to Mark, and I was like, haha. Anyway, what's the B stand for?
You started the conversation with, haha.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No, 100%. It was possibly the stupidest thing ever, and it made my entire day. And I was grinning about it all day, and it was amazing, and I loved it. Molly, you're
Before
fantastic.
I even finished my thought, they were already mad at me.
Mark was already exasperated, and I was already wheezing.
You've heard me say it before on the show, where I just sort of pause and go, Molly.
Exactly.
It was
That's
funnier.
exactly it.
It was
Molly.
funnier because Sam in Your Lovely Life Andrea was there, and it was like I feel like in their eyes they thought Caden and Mark were overreacting. They're like, she's just asking you a question. Why are you being so mean to her? And then it's just
See
like, no,
also every episode of Yayo.
yeah, now they know it's just the dynamic.
That's just it. We're the younger sibling trio, and then there's Al, who's the older one, and somehow that doesn't help us at all.
Oh, no.
Our level of being I don't know, respectable human beings. I don't know what you call this.
I'm not gonna get in trouble, so
That's fair.
It's true. You're not wrong.
Last episode we left off at I mean, there's so many turning points in this particular section of Wano, but
Wano's butt.
we're resuming.
Wow, 42 episodes.
Molly,
Al
just
finally
so you know,
says butt.
just so you know, Mark, Al, and I planned that butt joke since episode 0.
Mm-hmm.
Nailed it. Wait until Molly sees our spoiler chat.
Oh god.
The ordeal of Molly seeing our spoiler chat.
We thought it would be poignant to start with chapter 1000, just because of holy cow,
Yo, for real?
manga has reached 1000 chapters.
Yo, for
That is
real?
insane. That is an insane number of like any media to get to.
Yeah, it really is.
With episode 1000 was a little bit further. It was featuring stuff that we talked about in the last episode, but it was a cool thing of all of the Straw Hats meeting on the live floor and then going their separate ways. But with this, episode 1015, directed again by Megumi Ishitani, is one of the most beautiful pieces of art that I think exists in the animation medium. And it's one of those things that can not even necessarily fill you in on everything that you've missed if for whatever reason you haven't seen One Piece. That's what I think episode 1000 did, of like, here's what you need to know for right now. But with episode 1015, we get a little bit more of Yamato and Ace. We get just so much. It's just gorgeous. And we gushed a lot last episode, but I want to toss this over to the board partners to sort of lead a discussion. Just let's just talk about, if you haven't seen episode 1015, you're doing an incredible disservice to yourself as an animation fan.
As somebody who's a manga purist, you have to watch this episode. You should just watch this whole arc, because from beginning to end, they really commit to the quality of animation. And again, I'm normally somebody who's like, listen, if it's not in the manga, that's fake. That's fan service, whatever. But the additional stuff they add in this episode, that's just like quick moments of like Yamato just bringing it up, or just like quick moments of dialogue, but we don't really get to see a full extent of some stuff that they added in this episode. Is like, I have no notes. Like, I didn't know that they could make this scene any better than they did, and they did it.
So there's a thing that happens in Western animation. If you watch enough animation long enough, you'll end up finding shots that have been animated by James Baxter. Mm-hmm. And you'll know it's a James Baxter shot because it's like, that is the best animation I think I've ever seen. And it's usually like the show will only have one or two of those shots. But this whole episode is just jam-packed with James Baxter style shots without James Baxter. Like,
that's an amazing reference you just made.
It's insane.
Yes, the horse from Adventure Time animates.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was the funniest thing, because like I'm just like James Baxter. Why do I know that name? I'm like, oh, I do know that name.
Baxter.
And then I'm just like, that's right, I do know who James Baxter is, and it's not just the horse from Adventure Time.
Hey, everybody!
He 2D animated Notre Dame rotating in space. Like he did that by himself. Like who does that?
You know, somebody who wants to do it for fun.
Only cool guys.
For fun.
Really cool guy.
insane artistic mind.
It's just so beautiful. When Mark was about to toss it to us, I have the episode up right now while I'm watching while we're talking, just so I can fully
Get immersed.
yeah, like we have the words to talk about it, and I don't know how to explain when Mark was about to set it up to us is when Yamato is standing up to his dad and like just actually blinking tears away, like trying not to cry. This episode guts me every time, even with it muted. I'm just like trying not to cry right now.
Like the only, if you were to boil it down to one word, it's evocative. It makes you feel the emotions that they want you to feel. And like when you're watching animation and you're put in a place where you're feeling what the character's feeling, and without any dialogue, you're just watching them react to something, like that's peak of the craft.
Oh
and
my god.
They did such a good job.
I didn't know it was this. I really am gonna cry. Holy shit. Sorry for swearing. I didn't realize it was also this episode where he finds all the samurai and the quick cuts to like Oh, I might cry, dude. I might.
It sums everything up so far, and then his journey getting to that point.
It's just like Oda showed us this, and we understood the assignment, but like this is the stuff I like live for, being a storyboard artist, of just like imparting drama and like emotion into a scene, and just like this is so rare for them to be able to insert their own crap, and I'm just like I'm eating it. Like I'm so happy they did this.
like the manga from before, just
yeah, I'm eating it. I'm eating it up. I love it. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
Molly, stop eating your iPad.
Oh,
quiet sobs.
There's a lot to I mean, it's funny to think about how Molly was referencing how Ace was drawn in this before we started recording, and now she's like, oh, I'm crying, which we can go back to. One of my favorite moments in this particular episode is seeing the flashback of Roger talking to Odin and Whitebeard, and then Ace and Sabo coming through, and Luffy standing with Roger. But one of my favorite sort of visual things with that is Roger's scene is in red and Luffy's scene is in blue, and as they come together and say whatever they said,
it literally washes over the scene. Like the transition is the color washes over all the characters.
To me, it's like a 3D red, like an old school 3D red and blue, and seeing both of those images together, you feel like you're there. You feel like you're in it, and that's Yamato experiencing how powerful these two expressions, these two phrases, these two people, these two ideas are, and just how completely world-shattering by not even meeting them, how it changes his life for the better. Yeah. And it's gorgeous.
It's just fantastic animation, and everyone should watch it. Like, if you've gone this far into the podcast and you have somehow haven't watched an episode of One Piece, please watch that episode.
Yeah, I somehow read.
If you have somehow stumbled upon our podcast and don't know what One Piece is, and you've only heard it through our voices, I'm very curious to know what your thoughts are on what's going on right now, because you are getting like fourth hand information technically.
What like, are there other parts of this episode that strike you, that hit you right in the heartstrings?
Yeah, I got one, and I told this to Molly too. I think that the moment of having Yamato run up as Ace's Viver card is burning up, and he's holding it in his hands, and then it floats away a little bit, and he's trying to recapture it, and then Ace's Viver card just... I think that is more sad than seeing Ace die. I think that is a much more sad moment. Like, yes, we have all the things that are going on when Ace died, and it's so much. And I think that this really puts it into perspective better because we get to see Luffy get angry and everybody start being like aghast at everything that's going on. But this is a very quiet moment. You see Yamato see it burning and like freak out, and then he rushes out there. And then by the time he gets to the cliff, the last place he waved to Ace before Ace was off into the sunset, it's gone and it's floating in the air and then gone. And I think that that is a much more poignant moment than watching Ace die in front of our eyes.
Well,
I think that says a lot more.
It's also very real and very relatable in terms of like how people deal with actual death, because when you confront actual death, you are helpless. And like in that situation, there's nothing you can do. It's just happening. And like you only have your memories to hold on to. And so being in the place where your memories are tied to watch the last gasp of that person metaphorically disappear is like fucking heartbreaking. Sorry for cursing, Mark.
No, I mean, I imagine there's a lot of emotion. So like, I'm like, it's gonna happen. Similarly, I agree with you, Caden. The moment that I forgot, they showed in such a very stark way. We didn't even really talk about the Odin's attendants fighting Kaido last episode, but they made a very valiant stand and were systematically defeated one by one. And
Kiku lost her arm.
And Kiku lost her arm. The shot where Luffy shows up on the roof, blows past Big Mom and Kaido, doesn't even care to check on his friend Kinemon. And as in the show, it shows him walking up and seeing the scene of like Luffy Dono and all of the people are standing there, and it's just a hard cut from being bright sunny on the shores of Wano to dark, they're bloody on the floor, and Luffy goes down and asks him if he's okay, and then he starts crying, and then I start crying, and I'm just like, this is all so heartbreaking.
I'm like literally crying right now.
Yeah.
No, the one thing that they do really well that I don't think they've done before, like manga or anime until this episode that we see at like the end of this episode, is like the culmination of like Luffy's point of view during this, like the wide sweep of this storyline, specifically with like finding the samurai and like Punk Hazard and like all of the trials and tribulations of like being with the people and seeing like how much Kaido has messed up this country, and it's like from Luffy's point of view, and it's just like it's so it's such a those are such powerful shots, because it's like, we give and we don't give Luffy enough credit sometimes, where our first introduction of Luffy is him being like, here's my tragic backstory, and it's like, and that's the reason why I am, and like Luffy's like passed out, like not even listening, but then it's still the one who takes down Arlong, he's still the one who takes down Crocodile, and it's just like, it's so it's like I'm like still crying about it, but it's just like they do this really great job of making you be in this moment with like Odin's retainers, of just like they've come so far and they still can't beat this guy, and it's so frustrating.
I mean, to their credit, like Kaido is a master of armament hockey. He's supposed to be untouchable, and they managed to cut the old scar Odin gave him. So like that's something.
I know. No, I'm not like crapping on them or whatever, but it's just like we literally have been with them since the time skip of like I want this to happen for them, and just like Kin being in Luffy's arms and just being like, I'm so ashamed, like I can't face Odin in the afterlife, and it's just like knowing everything that they've been through and then it's still not being enough is just like so heartbreaking.
And
it hurts.
And
It's-
but then Luffy's response, like before he even has a chance to finish, of like, "Will you help us?" Like, "Shut up! Of course I will."
It's not even that. It's will you carry this country on your back? And
Mhm.
it's just like, like I know you know who Luffy is, but it's like immediately, like it's already such a heart wrenching scene. But like rewatching that scene again and just thinking of when Bon Chan saved him right before Marineford, of saying like, you know, like just it's like, how many times are you gonna keep saving me? Like I thought we were gonna leave together. And even like with Mr. 3 during Marineford, of saying, would you laugh if I told you I did this for a fallen comrade? Like it's like it's storytelling at its best, but it's like this is just like this has been so long in coming, and it's just like when the tears dry, I'm just so furious. I'm just like, kill him, Luffy, like kick his ass, like really give it to him, because it's just like there have
Give
been a
him the
lot of
business.
people in One Piece that I wanted Luffy to shut them the hell up, but it's like really they're really ramping me on this one. Like, get him, Luffy. I don't give a bite his jugular out. I don't care anymore. Just get him.
Like
Get in there.
so many arcs and arcs and sagas that we've just been through work for this guy. Like, he's their boss. Like it's a culmination of all the effort leading up to this point for years. Whenever we all started watching this show, is leading up to this is the biggest, baddest pirate.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. It's a lot.
Ugh. So are our feelings.
My eyes are so dry right now.
And this is we're starting
X for
from
doubt.
here.
Like, shut up, Al.
This section of the story has a lot. I mean, we've been saying it since Dressrosa. This is very dense, and they go back and forth from fight to fight, from person to person, and I don't think people have started fighting their like final opponent other than Luffy, and even then that got called into question. And then that starts to compound as these chapters that we're talking about today happen. So I guess I just want to throw it out. Who wants to talk about what first?
Okay.
Can I let me start this on a lighter tone? How about that? Let me start
I
this on a
mean,
lighter
we already
tone.
talked about death, but feel
We already
free.
talked about Ace.
Guess who's
He's
still dead? Everybody's been getting power-ups. Everybody's been like leveling up. This is the culmination of a lot of stuff. And it's something that we really haven't necessarily touched on, but everybody is having a moment of I'm stronger than I was before. And we got to see Nami's this time. But we already saw Zoro's, we already saw Sanji's. We really talk about Sanji too much. Usopp has had a bit of a moment where I feel like his lying is getting better. If that makes any sense. He keeps like as he keeps proclaiming things, it's easier and easier for people to believe him, even if it's not technically true. Like, hey, I'm the one who stopped those two. And they're just like, oh crap, I guess we got to believe him. And then they do. And it's like, okay, wow, that was easy. And they believe him because he is that strong. And I think that speaks to Usopp's abilities. We saw Chopper being able to like make a cure,
Mass cure wounds.
Mm-hmm.
and cure everybody with something like within moments as everybody's fighting still.
As he was turned into a baby grandpa. So
but
bitty.
But we got to see Nami and Zeus have a bit of a tiff, because we had you know what, that's actually something I want to talk about, is Lin's actual care for children. She actually does care about kids and does want kids to be protected, does not think that violence should come towards kids or anything like that. When Ulti comes in and hits my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to put that out there. When Ulti comes out and hits my daughter, and then everybody's just like, bitch, you didn't. And Linlin is just like, oh, hold on. You, harlot in with the red hair, you're gonna hold on a minute because this one's gonna die first. And Nami's just like, yay, go Linlin. It's like, I'm still going to kill you, but this one's first. And it's just like, you know what? Priorities. I appreciate that. We get to see a little bit of like that heart, like as much as Big Mom is bad, and I'll be honest, Big Mom and Kaido are awful. We get to see a lot of their humanity in these last, like between the chapters that we just read and these chapters. We get to see a lot of their humanity and where their personality comes from. Because Kaido, for what it's worth, does respect his son as his son. However, shut up, stop saying you're Odin, because shut up, which I understand from his perspective, that'd be incredibly disrespectful to the person who, killed him. More or less killed him. I know it was still Orochi, but like Kaido was a big cause of that. So I'm putting the blame on both of them. But seeing Linlin basically just be like, I'm going to kick your ass first. Then I'll turn around and then I'll kick your ass. And having it all kind of like come to a head where Zeus is, Zeus got replaced. And then it's just like, okay, we'll suck his soul back in so you can get his stuff now. And
what a sentence.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, it makes more sense if you watch One Piece, which means that if you don't watch One Piece and you're listening to this sounds like gobbledygook garbage. Okay,
go back to episode 0.
Start at 0. Come back here.
You can hear us making plans for this episode.
And butt jokes.
But Nami using the climb attack after saying that Zeus is like, I can't believe you betrayed me. How dare you? Blah, blah, blah. Using the climb attack to still try and save Zeus. And then Zeus being a part of the climb attack and it being just like, this is Nami's level up. And getting to see Nami actually go into a fight. And it's just like, yes, once again, Nami is realizing that, yeah, Nami, you're also a part of the Freak of the Week club now. You're the like, who's this weirdo? Who's this freak? That's you now, Nami. Way back when you're just like, I got to be quiet and stealthy because if anybody notices me. And now Nami is just like, I'm going to take this stick and shove it so far up your ass. And it's great. She doesn't have the necessary, like, I don't think she necessarily has the same level of confidence that her power actually denotes. And I think that humbles her quite a bit. And I think that makes her very smart in the battlefield. That said, it's really cool to see Nami kick ass. And it's really, it's a really fun, like interaction because there is that level of, oh, hey, Big Mom does remember everything that happened before, after she lost her memory and then got it back. She remembers the whole thing. So she's like, oh, you were really nice to me. You're such a sweetheart. You're such a good little girl. Nami, I'm still going to kill you. I remember you. Don't worry about it. You're dead. Usopp also.
I think it proved, like, her name more so just being Big Mom, she has a huge family, but that also shows like big mother energy. Of like, these people cared for me, and I like turning around to the Beast Pirates and being like, did Kaido teach you to act like this to people who are kind to you? You pieces of garbage. I'm going to kill all of you. I'm going to kill everybody. Listen, don't get it twisted.
Yeah, that was great.
Killing everybody, but I'm going to start with Ulti and then move to you, and then Straw Hats here after that. Ugh, big mother energy.
It's nice. It's nice to have some like, listen, I love a complicated villain, and I think that says a lot more than like having a complicated hero. I feel like the complicated hero tropes are they don't go hard enough. They never go hard enough for me specifically. That said, I think the complicated like and much more like sordid history of the villains in One Piece, most especially seen with like Big Mom and Kaido, because there's a lot of history there and we're still getting into it. I think it's much more interesting to take a look at all of that and be just like, these people have went through some stuff. Like Big Mom had a bad time as a kid and started creating something and got misguided and really went off the deep end in a lot of ways, but her heart was still there and in it, and in the idea of, if I make everybody my family and I take care of everybody, then that's it. Everybody's safe. And it's a great concept, on paper, and then she eats people. And it's just like, well, you've lost the plot, I think, a little bit here. But it is cool to see that, like, see those dynamics play out in a way, because listen, as much as Kaido and Big Mom are like buddy right now, they were about to kill each other a few minutes ago, and there's nothing stopping them from flipping back again. Exactly, there's nothing stopping them from flipping back again, because let's say they did win this. Let's hypothetically say that they do win this. They won't, because this is One Piece and it's Luffy's story. But if they did win this, shush, Mr. Everybody who's about to say Paulie's going to join the crew in 3 minutes. These two get to the One Piece, specifically Mark. Everybody, if these two got to the One Piece, what do you think the first thing would be that would happen? They'd fight for it. They'd absolutely fight for it. They don't want to share with each other because they have their own ideals of what, the ruler of everything would do, who has everything and has the power to do all this stuff. They have a different idea. So they'd immediately go to war with each other. That said, they're on good terms now, but I think, but again, like this happening, and Big Mom's just like, this is who I'm teaming up with. Regret, immediate regret, garbage, 100 times garbage.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was like 2 chapters that I talked about, and I talked about it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, straight up.
Good.
I feel like Molly right now.
What do you mean? What? No, I agree with everything that you said.
Yeah, you're right.
Man, it's like I agree with you on the Nami stuff, but I definitely remember being frustrated week by week with her story this time around, because it's like 1 week she's running and crying and is like, oh, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And then it's like going in all the, it's just like, it felt like I was like, yeah, I know there's a lot of people Oda, but like, I know you're gonna hit and miss every once in a while, but like, you showed Nami in such a specific way during Whole Cake, and like she like put up like a really strong defense. Like I don't know. There was a lot of just like it felt kind of how I felt in Dressrosa, even though that was like the whole bit of like, they went back to the very beginning in terms of like Usopp's personality, of like he hard lied to all of them. You know what I mean? It's like why are we going back? Like he has grown from this, and I understand now. Like that's the whole bit of the moment of like he's lying so much it becomes true or whatever. But I was getting really frustrated with Nami during this arc, and during specifically this end fight, like the raid fights, because it's like, just like every time we check in with her, she's doing something different. And it's like, I guess it's still in character, but like, just pick one, man. Like, it's like a little frustrating at this point, because I know where Nami is and I know where Nami should be. And it's like, we see such cool growth with Robin in this fight. And it's like, Nami is on par with her, not to that level, but still she has grown, right? Like she has more confidence in her abilities. She knows who she is. And there's a lot of flip-flopping in this one that just drives me crazy a little bit. He got a little.
Well, I think that part of that comes from, at least for Nami, in Nami's sense of things, part of that comes from like her original character flaw, which ties into why it was frustrating with Usopp, because that is also his original character flaw, where Usopp's original character flaw is he is a liar, and Nami's is, I will flip and flop through sides, and I will not show my true colors, and I will do what benefits me most in this situation and then betray you in the next minute, which is her original thing, and seeing how that like affects things, because that's still part of who they were. And while it has been years, they're still young, and they're still growing, and they're still learning. And there's times and moments, and I think it's important to like note this, they're still kind of like kids at this point. They're only on the cusp of what is quote unquote adulthood at this point, and they're still learning these things, and they're getting thrown into something that is far older than them and far beyond their capabilities in a lot of ways. And they continue to ramp themselves up and bolster their own strengths with each other. I think that we see that very much in Sanji. God, I hate talking about Sanji. In Sanji being just like trusting, not just having this moment, but is his character flaw. He will not hit a woman. He won't do it, and he can't use his hockey against Black Maria. He just can't. But Black Maria wants Robin to show up because that's her ultimate goal. But Sanji trusts Robin now. And they all do. And I think they have that moment of just like, I'm going to call out to Robin for help because I know Robin will help me. And Robin will be there for me in this moment.
But
And
also,
Robin will be able to take care of herself, and she wants to live and learning through these things. So it's important to have that moment. And then Robin taking the important thing of, they called me the devil child. They called me a devil. They called me a demon. I will become that if that's what it means to protect my family now, because these people are my family, and you guys called me the devil child for such a long time. I will become that to protect my family. And it's like, oh, it's so good. So it's bringing back those character flaws and using them to like elevate the character a little bit more. It's
I
definitely
agree
weaker in some
with
places.
you. I agree with you, but like I can't stress enough that like even though Nami would like run away in the beginning of the like in like change sides or whatever, there was always like a level of maturity with that. I swear to God, he like de-ages her in these scenes of like
He definitely
I have to run away. And I'm like, who are you? Like, you're not Nami.
yeah.
You're so mature during Whole Cake. And they put a flower in your hair for this scene. And suddenly you're like, hiya, I'm running boopedly. And it's just like,
to be fair,
so much. And that drives me so, like, there's nothing wrong with that. But, like, we just saw so much maturity with her. Like, even the beginning of this arc. And, like, for whatever reason, for like 10 chapters of this fight, it's just like, hiya! And it's like, oh, I want to kill you so bad right
You're
now.
not wrong. You're not wrong.
I want to kill
You're not wrong.
You're
to be
like,
fair, though, boobs do be breasting boobily.
And like, there's nothing wrong with running boobedly, but like, you guys obviously can't see it, but it's the running with like my arms up.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know
And I'm like,
exactly
that's
what
not
you're talking
Nami.
about.
She runs away. She switched sides. She's a liar. She's a thief. We know this.
Yes.
She's not that.
At this point, she's a strategist. Like, she's better at strategy than Usopp to some extent.
Is this
Usopp
strategy working against
toolkit.
anybody? Is this being hiya to Big Mom? Is that working for her?
Well, no,
I don't think so.
to your point, it is out of character compared to where she was last arc.
Yes.
Grumble,
Yes.
grumble, grumble, grumble.
That
Molly,
said,
Molly continuously being mad about Nami, which I completely I support wholeheartedly.
I turned the corner when when Oda finally let her rage, which is just like, finally, we're getting somewhere with this.
Well,
I liked that moment quite a bit.
As you should. Everyone should.
But on the Robin fight, I really liked that entire sequence because it like disarmed Sanji. Like, Sanji's trope the entire time is that he seeks out damsels in distress because of the opportunity to like date a damsel in distress.
Right, exactly.
But now it's a dumbass in distress, and Robin shows up to help out. And that it is just so badass. She literally becomes the like devil from Fantasia.
It's awesome. It's so cool. I think that's my it is definitely up there for, I know I talk about Robin a lot. Everybody's surprised.
As is your right.
As is my right.
Yeah.
But I think that this moment for Robin is that like that next level, that again, talking about character evolution. Her saying, I've spent half my life in unsavory organizations, so naturally seeing my friends mistreated brings out the devil in me, is that next level version of the I want to live.
Cool.
Because it's just like, this is like, not only have you used your life now, you're existing in your life, you are happy with your life, you are using that with a purpose and not just surviving, you are living, and now you're wanting to protect it and the people who gave it to you. And it's like, it'll bring out the devil in me. And it's like, oh yeah, let's go.
Her ultimate confidence is so striking because like she's always been confident, like except for that one moment where we saw her at her absolute lowest, of course. But like since then, we just haven't really seen her go wild and like full like because the crew has been separated for various reasons and she's stuck to the shadows, I really liked seeing the flashback of her with the revolutionaries being like, look, you're gonna get caught and you're gonna need something like you're gonna need more in your arsenals. And so seeing her use fishman karate
It's
was
so cute.
So
awesome.
cool.
I'm still want more koala. I feel like we're gonna get it eventually, but like I just think koala is so interesting, and I love that like from
I like koala
her,
better than Sabo.
like koala's
Totally.
whole like history with like Fisher Tiger or Tiger
Mhm.
Fisher
Fisher Tiger.
of like that whole thing and like realizing
Tiger
that
is
her
fishy.
like mom did wrong and like that led her then to the revolutionaries and like she meets other fishmen and like learns fishman karate. Like they obviously didn't teach her that, but like other people did. And it's just like I love this like continuation of like where she started from and like it's just made her so much stronger. And then it's like I feel like her and Robin can relate to each other a lot and getting that like little nibble of like, oh, here's like a glimpse of what we were up to in that 2-year gap that we didn't see what they were up to. And I love this. And it's such a like, oh, it's such a for me callback again. But I'm like, thank you, Oda.
We're closing another loop too, because wasn't she called like the Devil Child or something when
Yeah.
she was young? Like she took the name they gave her and made it her own. Like
I am
she was
become devil.
taking full ownership.
Yeah, when you're
of it.
when society calls you a monster, it's using that power against the people
That-
who would like subjugate you and be just like, you wanted the monster, now you got the monster.
That is
How
a
do you
trope
feel
that I
about that?
love of like, isn't this what you wanted? Of like, you know, that
This
like,
is what you
turning it
called me.
around.
How does it
Yeah.
feel?
Like it's the like I'm the villain.
Dude,
I'm the bad guy.
like,
duh.
the thing enhancing these scenes was Brooke on the sidelines talking to Black Maria being
Yeah.
like, you should probably stop talking.
He's
Have
like,
you considered
dude.
apologizing?
Yeah.
You don't know what you're saying, you big idiot. You're you're literally going to die.
You know what's bad when Brooke is doing the like Ida boy, like the
Boy.
hand movement boy,
But
like
it's like,
of
look,
this, like,
I'm a dead person. I know what being dead is like. You're probably going to be dead soon.
oh my god, that would have been the funniest thing of Robin being like, that makes the devil like that just like brings out the devil in me, and Brooke being like, dude, let me tell you, like she got me on this one.
She's gonna kill you so hard.
Like she killed me.
We've been on a ship for a few years, and I've seen her mad before, but not like this.
Not like this.
You
love
listen.
that
We're not on the same team, but like you better run.
The like sad teammate moment of like when the mirages were showing up of like Robin's loved ones.
Oh, that
they were like-
sucks. That
and they were
hurt.
like,
That sucked for me.
I went crazy on a ship for years, so I know what's real and not real. And then Robin's like, we have more in common than you think. Then it's just like, what does that mean? That's really sad. That's so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just like,
With a smile
haha, we
on her
haven't
face.
gotten to the trauma arc yet where we all talk about it in therapy together.
That's what the real final arc is going to be. Just everybody trauma dumping.
That's why Jinbei's here to actually like listen. It's like,
He puts on
Hey,
his reading
Robin.
glasses.
yeah, Robin, would you like to talk about your feelings? Yes, I thought nobody would ever.
Yes.
Listen, I know we've talked about daddies a lot this week, and I know we talked about Jinbei a lot this week, but have you guys ever considered how it would be so nice to get a hug from him? Like
From Jinbei?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
he looks like an
Yeah.
incredible hugger, like Totoro
Oh
style.
no,
hugging.
best hug ever.
Ugh.
100,000%.
A little slick.
Can you stop saying wet like that?
Wet. I was just like, I wasn't being weird about it until you asked me to.
Oh, you made me do this.
I learned it from watching you.
No, you did not. No, you did not.
Hey,
What?
No, maybe
Hey.
you did.
yeah,
What?
maybe I did. You know who sucks?
I can guess.
Speaking
I
of
can
Jinbei,
list
you know who sucks?
Can I guess?
Yeah, please guess.
Are you gonna say who's who?
Goddamn right, I'm gonna say
I
who's who. This dude
Yeah.
sucks.
Oh, dude.
like we
Game of
needed a
Thrones.
new member of CP9 to be just like an absolute butt. Like this
And
Yeah,
like,
dude-
not even that, but him also being like meow meow.
Here's the worst part.
Freaking cats, dude. It's like,
Here's the
meow.
worst part of this. He's just like, yeah, and he name drops Rob Lucci. It's just like Wano face at this guy. It's like, shut up. Nobody wants. You could have name dropped anyone and I'd be like, oh, that's interesting, but you chose Rob Lucci. No, thank you. I'm out.
I want that guy to be
moment-
my dad.
It's a
Don't like
moment
you.
of this guy just like dumping his own issues into a fight, and I just wanted Jinbei to be like, "Bro, you think you're special?" Like,
I mean, he kind of was. The finishing blow of the fight was like, you should think before you talk about other people's cultures.
yeah, appropriation.
Seriously. He was just talking so much mess at Jinbei, and Jinbei was like, I need to punch and suplex this guy.
Yeah, but it's
Roll
also
hard.
just like the amount of racism we see specifically that Jinbei has had to deal with over the years. It's like you're gonna preach to this guy, like you gotta know when to pick your battles, man. But like, good for Jinbei. He needed that, really. He just
all needed
partied. He just partied
Cathartic.
with his old crew. He's joined a new crew, and the first person he gets to beat up on is somebody who's begging for it.
Yeah, yeah. He tries to be just like, hey, it's just like when who's doing like this whole speech to Jinbei. Is like, you really thought you said something right there, didn't you? You really thought you had an important and really critical thought right there that you're talking to Jinbei, and then Jinbei's just like, cool, I wasn't listening. Anyway, Fishman karate, and it's like, yes. Screw this guy. I hate this guy. I hate this
It's
stupid.
like Who's Who feels like he was specifically there for lore dumping.
Yep.
Well, I
And-
mean, we learned a lot of stuff.
I'm just gonna start calling this guy who?
Ooh.
I started calling him Who's He.
Who's he is great. Episode of the name of the episode. Who's
Episode
he?
of the title.
Episode of the title named.
Who's Who, like the only reason I remember him was just some of the absolute bonkers stuff he was talking about.
Yeah,
But-
he just drops some lore. It's just like, hey, do you know who the sun god Nika is? It's like, no, I don't.
Well, you've got that big sun
What are-
picture on your
what are
body,
you-
and I thought you did.
It's like, I hope this is relevant to you. We also learned that this jerk is the one who literally is just like, I have a thing against Shanks because I was the one that he stole the devil fruit from.
Mhm.
But now I hate Luffy because he ate the devil fruit. And I was like, what does this have to do with anything right now? And I know Oda, so it all has something to do with anything. Don't worry, we're going to have a whole episode talking about where my brain went for there. However, in this particular moment, as coming from Jinbei's perspective, it's like, what the hell are you talking about? What are you going on about?
It's like
Shut up.
anytime
The Eggman.
they cut back to Jinbei, and it's just like like he's just got
Yeah.
elevator music in his head.
It's very much like the. Oh, I just lost it.
What the f are you two? What are you two
it's-
effing talking about?
It's very. I've like cut to Jinbei after all that lore, and just the Eggman of like, what the f are you talking about? God.
This has nothing to do with me.
Out of everybody to lore dump to, it's so weird that he's like, oh, you're somehow associated kind of to Luffy. Let me just info dump on you.
Which kind of like maybe that's just what Who's Who does every time they fight. It's just dump
feel
like
like
lore
that's
dump at
condescending
everybody.
Please
because,
listen
like-
to me.
Because Jinbei's like not to say this in like this is not Jinbei's an old dude. Like Jinbei's an old dude. Like
Yeah, he is.
he knows Molly.
What?
Molly, please.
Twiddling your hair.
Molly, please
What?
wipe the drool off for a minute. Hold on.
No.
Jinbei's an older
The
dude.
drool
Like Jinbei's an
stays.
older dude. He's not young. Jinbei is not young. He's not like old. Like he's not
All right, chill
grandpa.
out.
He's not grandpa age, but he's an older dude. So he's been around the block. He knows stuff. He's experienced things firsthand. So like this who the hell are you, dude? Coming up is like, hey, do you know this stuff? It's like, I know more than you. This is exactly this Jim. It's like, hey, I'm who's who. Do you know this stuff? And Jinbei's just like,
Read a book, idiot.
It's Ron Swanson going into the Home Depot. I know more than you. It's like, stop talking to me. Who are you? Go away.
Suplexes one of the people helping.
Yeah, it's just like, I didn't ask for your help or your presence, and I hate your vibes. I'm gonna suplex you into the ocean now.
Every fight who's who goes into is do you want to know how I got these scars?
That's exactly.
We live in a society.
I was going to say,
that's exactly his
Society.
vibe.
Jinbei, did you know we live in a society?
Listen. I'm gonna say it again. Do not trust people with clown core vibes. Okay. Who's
The pink
who?
hair, isn't it?
It's
Or
who's who?
catcore.
Listen.
And I don't mean Cat the animal. No. I don't mean Cat the
No.
animal. I mean Cats the musical.
Oh.
There was a
Yeah,
D.
do you remember?
But only the
Who's
movie,
Who's
but not the,
Entourage?
but not okay. Listen, but not but only the movie because the actual stage show is immaculate.
Real quick segue. When I was, I
don't know
home-
how this is segueing. All right,
you're gonna
Molly.
love this.
All
when I was
right,
home,
let's go.
A story I've never heard about my dad. He told me, apparently, I don't know if I was born yet, but like him and my mom went to go see Cats at one point, like in theater, and he fell asleep during the show, and the actors on stage made fun of him.
That's awesome. I too would have made fun of him. How could you fall asleep during Cats?
I don't
Rom-com Calgary is cool.
I've never
Oh.
heard the story before, and I laughed so hard. I'll never
That's
forget it for the rest of my
phenomenal.
I
for the
Did he
rest
like
of my life.
snore loud enough for them to notice? Like I
I don't know
know.
if they had like really good tickets and this like the stage lights were on or something, but they
had
saw
cat's
them.
eyes.
And I don't know how
Come
they're. He didn't
on.
get into specifics
Good
of like
night,
how
Dickon.
they're making fun of him, but I imagine they were like meow meow. Get a load of this guy, meow meow.
Mr. Mistopheles, come on. Rumple Teaser, come on. Cats is good.
could be
Christopher
making up-
Jones.
You could be making up fake sounds
And
right
Whiteside.
now. and I would
Molly,
not know.
how?
Molly,
First of
they're
all,
all
not only are
They're
they
all
all
real
real,
names.
They're all real names.
listen. I'm a queer woman, Molly. I
Uh-huh.
love musicals, and Cats, the actual musical, rocks. Cats, the movie, I want to die.
Meow, meow.
Idris Elba. That's it.
But
I
it's-
will take Idris Elba as McCavity in a good version of Cats.
Jason Derulo.
Because I do think that he did a great job. What did they do? Can't believe they did that to Judi Dench. To Judi Dench of all people. How
yeah, they
dare
left her
Now.
human hand in.
so awful. To Judi Dench of all people. Sorry for this random
never
rant
would have
about
happened in
cats in the
Bond.
middle of One Piece talk.
Episode 42. I can't believe they did that to Judi Dench.
Please, I'm begging you. I'm
Oh my
begging.
God.
We'll think about it. We got. Oh man, there's so much other crap. Oh
We've
my
talked for
god.
about an hour and we're still near the beginning of this.
It's very. I think it's interesting. We see that CP0 is there and is like keeping tabs on the fight, but they're also like, we need Nico Robin alive and we need Who's Who dead. We don't care how that happens. We just need both of those things to happen.
Good for them, because coincidentally, that's exactly what I want as the reader. I want Nico Robin alive and Who's Who dead.
Yeah, you're right.
They're so
Like-
thirsty.
Hey, so I want. I just heard what you said.
Yeah.
Oh man, again, we're jumping around a bunch, but this is the next thing that I had in my notes. Who immediately got rank vibes when Odin showed up?
Oh, that hurt
Really?
me. I remember very
Mhm.
specifically yelling in spoiler chat I was like, that's not funny. You can't do that. Like, that's not okay.
Well, that's immediately
not
what. Listen, that's
okay.
immediately what as a villain, that's immediately what I would write into that. It's just like, okay, they've already shown that people can come from the past to the future and blah blah blah. So let's just go ahead and do that and proclaim this and this, and it works for a half a second, and then all of them remember, and it's just like, cool. get him.
That was another one of those 2-week break ones too. So like
Yeah.
the discourse surrounding that chapter and like breaking down how he looked in the flashback versus how he looked at the end of that chapter.
No,
and so on
I
and
mean, like the facts are immediately there, and like the next chapter explains it, but it's just like, no, that's not how that works. And
yeah,
it's
no,
like it's
in that
already been
moment,
explained to you.
everybody wanted to believe.
Everybody wanted to believe Odin was back, but like the storytelling had already told you there is no way that that's possible. Also, it undercuts his sacrifice, and it completely would ruin
It's-
Yamato's ambitions.
It is
I
the
think
biggest
it's ruined
insult they
everything.
could do to the 9 red scabbards.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not only that. It's not only that. By having Odin live, it undercuts Momonosuke's story, it undercuts Yamato's story, and it undercuts the 9 red scabbard story all at the same time. So Odin can't be alive. And it definitely not like this. Like, we can magic a character back to life for whatever reason we want, as far as creating things is concerned. You can just bippity boppity, bam, the bitch is back, and explain it whatever way you want. But for that to happen in this case, it would ruin the thematic storytelling for so many characters, and especially in this instance. Like, if Odin came back and was like, JK, I was on the ground and nobody saw me because Odin just gets better the longer it's cooked, and then I cry.
It is known, but it was just like knowing right away that this isn't real, and just being like, when you think they couldn't get any lower and they do this kind of crap, it's
you
just so
already
mean.
are like full on hating this
Well,
crew they're fighting.
this is where I throw this on the table. I throw this card on the table. You can, and this is why I think the betrayal from last time hurt more than this, because you can always expect evil people to do evil things. But the last chapter, when we had the JK, I've been a bad guy the whole time, and I've been with you the whole time, and I'm important to your group, and I've been helping you the whole time, but I've been evil. That you can, when a good person goes bad, when somebody you trust goes and flips on you, that is way more hurtful. And they're deep in the trenches of Kaido and Orochi's castle at this point, and they're knee deep into the fight. We know that this can't possibly be Odin. There's no way. And you could see them all believe for a moment, and then they're just like, we definitely want to believe, and it would be great if it was true, but we said goodbye to Odin, and we're here fighting on his behalf. So whoever you are, you gotta die. And it's just like, immediately you see everybody just like turn and be just like, disrespect. And it's just like, let's just put these people down. And it's like, oh God, it's so good.
It really is.
It hurts so much.
Did it hurt more or less than seeing that Kanjuro and Orochi were still alive?
It was
Yeah.
like it's more of like, man, like Kin and Okiku have already like sacrificed so much, and then you're also gonna make them fight this imposter. Like, even if they know it, it's still the face and the voice of like somebody they really care about. And it freaking hurts, dude. Come on, that's a low. It's like lower than the lowest blow. Like, you've already proven your point, but you're gonna do this now. Now you're just being sick. Now you're just in sicko mode. The word, like, derogatory.
Well,
I don't like it.
This also goes back to the case of like Oda saying, this is where Mark, I'm sorry. I hate this question and it hurts me every day. They didn't kill anybody. They haven't killed anybody. They're the good guys. They don't kill anybody. So like we saw, like, we also saw that Orochi like only one head, and that's, I mean, Orochi's got multiple heads. You got to cut them all off. Don't worry.
well,
No,
we thought he had like a dragon devil fruit, but it turns out to be a Hydra devil
Yes.
fruit. So,
I mean, his name's Orochi, so like,
mhm.
you know. But
and then like the fruit itself also had the multiple like sprigs on it. Like it's if you're familiar with
It's hinted.
yeah, if you're familiar with that particular reference, then you know we got more.
yeah, don't worry. Orochi gets his, but like, it's still one of those
Does he
things.
though?
Man, I hope so, because like that clean cut was great. Like
It was great the
clean
first
cut-
time too.
Yeah, but it was only one head the first time. This was all of them, supposedly, hypothetically, allegedly. Can't count people dead. So Ace is dead though. Whitebeard is dead though.
Rogers, he's out there.
Roger is dead.
What?
Unless-
Roger
No.
is dead.
He's
Nobody.
right here. I mean,
You know who's not dead? You know who's not dead and was kicking some absolute ass? Molly, here's the ball. Marco.
Marco.
Mhm.
Helping his little Tanuki friend out.
His what?
And just so you know, I'm not a Tanuki. I'm
that
so proud of
panel-
Copper.
That panel where they're like, oh, "We're so sorry."
Oh my
like
God.
they're like, "We're not trying
Marco
to
being just
disrespect
like,
you. We just didn't
wow,
know."
go off was great though. Like his face was just like, look at this little dude. He's killing it out
telling
there.
you.
Oh my God, he's killing them.
I'm telling you, I want to be in that retirement One Piece group of just being like, go for it, baby girl. Like, you got it. You're doing great, sweetie. Like, I want to be in that crowd so bad. And
Molly, you
I
want to talk about Marco and all the cool things Marco does?
He does a lot of cool things. I feel like I accidentally talked about it mostly last episode, but I mean, we get to see everybody doctoring.
Well, the thing is like he holds off so many people single-handedly, and his
literally with one hand.
literally with one hand. It's just like, oh my God. And listen,
Yeah.
the amount of disrespect. Talking about disrespect, this episode. This is a disrespect episode. Like they're just like, you Whitebeard pirates need to learn to lay down and die. And Marco's just like, first of all, how dare you? I loved Whitebeard. He was my dad. And also, I'm a phoenix, idiot. That's the whole point. I don't die. And it's just like, he's so... Molly, I understand.
Yeah.
Molly, this is what made me understand why Marco is so cool. Marco was kind of cool before. Marco's definitely cool now. Marco is like top tier at this point. Marco just starts to like strut it like a peacock a little bit, and I really appreciate it. And I think it's earned, especially with everything he's done in the last 50 chapters.
It's really like satisfying because he's a good fighter in Marineford, but it's like, obviously the tides weren't in their favor, and so it's a lot of really cool stuff, but it's also on the back half of like, I'm just defending so that we can retreat kind of stuff. We're seeing this guy like in it to win it this time around. Like it's like we're not in the out and out. Also in Marineford, they slap a freaking cuff on that guy like almost immediately, like a sea cuff. And so it's like, it's nice to see him kind of like, letting loose a little bit and like being so sugoi. And
even then, he's still buying time
yeah,
because
He's like, yeah, I feel like he's not going all out either. I feel like he's holding back a little bit.
We've like it. The thing that seemed to happen in like confirm in this that we saw in Water 7 / Ennie's Lobby is that
Wawa 7.
the hybrid Zoan forms, that's like the ultimate true power of Zoan users, because it's indicated through all of the like hybrid dino forms, and once Kaido like jumps into his actual hybrid form, stuff gets real. And similarly, Marco, we haven't even seen him like really be like half Phoenix, half dude.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's still more to him that we're probably going to see. And also the way that you said
Mr.
50
Fee.
chapters just so
how long?
wantonly is insane, because these
Yeah, what up?
specifically these 50 chapters took over a year,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and you did that in
just
2
case,
days.
Art is hard, everybody. Please remember that art is hard, and
Take
pay
breaks.
Your artist. Yeah.
Well,
Pay your
also-
artists, take
Yeah.
breaks.
Also, like during this, like Oda just got eye surgery. Like he's back this week. It's been a month since he had eye surgery.
Man,
It
I
has
hope he
been
takes a longer
known
break.
like a year ago that he had to start planning for this past month. Like he had to plan everything out. Like he couldn't just get it right away. Like he had to plan out at least a year and ahead with his editor so that he would be able to get surgery, which is crazy. of like,
Man, this industry really does run people ragged.
yep. I mean, literally kills people. It literally kills people.
Watch us in the SAG area still be on strike when this episode comes out.
Probably.
Yeah, baby.
This is why I'm okay with like, we're coming to the end of One Piece and people being like, no, another 5 more years, my butt. But it's like, let it, you know what I mean? Like, it's been a long run and I'm okay with it. And if Oda's ready to finish it, that's fine. I want him to get his life back. Like, if he wants to keep doing One Piece afterwards in a more casual aspect, that's totally fine. But he has like, I think his kids are like grown up now. And it's like, and the entire time.
I mean, you guys grew up. Like, you guys started reading this when you were younger, and now you're adults.
But I grew up and like hung out with my dad. Does that make sense? Like I hung out with my family when I was done reading One Piece chapters.
Yeah,
like,
I know. I mean, like
working...
putting in perspective, like Oda's kids are adults now. Like
I think I just was reading about like a typical day for Oda where he literally goes to bed so late and wakes up at like 5 a.m. and starts working. And he does that all week, every week, unless it's like a certain holiday that he's allowed to take off. Like, and he's been doing that for 25 years. And I'm just like, let the man sleep. You know what I mean? I'm like, if he wants to wrap this up and it's like, and it's real, like, good. Like, I hope so. Like,
I mean, the One Piece is real.
I know. It's just like the One Piece is letting Oda.
What? Wow, you can't just drop that and put it up there.
Anyway, to reiterate, Marco's great. I love Marco. I'm not going to sacrifice Oda for my Marco content, though.
Yeah, Oda wakes up at 5 I Googled this. I wanted to get his exact thing. Oda wakes up at 5 a.m. in the morning, works all day, and goes to sleep at 2 a.m. Yeah. No. In 2013, he was hospitalized due to health concerns. Stop that. This is why... Soapbox. I'm going to get up there. Anyway, here's my soapbox moment, all right? You ready? Here's my soapbox moment. If you have to sacrifice your entire body and life for work, whatever work may be, even if it's something that feels fulfilling, if you are giving up your entire life for an thing, you're not really giving yourself a life. And I think Oda deserves to take a frickin' break. So I think having this series end and allowing him the rest of his life to enjoy, because I'm looking at his schedule. There's an hour, 2 hours of sleep on Monday, 2 hours of sleep on Monday from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then he has breakfast at 8 a.m. No. Don't do that to yourself. That's not healthy. That is not good work ethic. That's not, taking your idea and moving forward. That's not any of those things. That's not like, keeping the dream alive. You're just killing yourself slowly. Mm-hmm. So please take care of yourselves and, make sure to support creators, be they big or small, so that they don't die young, because it happens more than you'd think. And
we can tackle our industry first and then take over Japan's really unhealthy work ethics, then we can do it.
There's no
it
point.
Ends with us.
I'm going to be king of the industry and I'm going to change everything, okay? I'm planting my flag now. I'm going to rule over all of this and I'm going to make sure that everybody is free by the end of my time.
I really got into the podcast when they took down when they took down Iger.
Yeah, my favorite arc of Yayo Talk Show was when
Molly punched Bob Iger right in the face.
When they declared
and everything went black and white.
When they declared war on Bob Iger specifically.
Oh my god, on all the studios.
That's it. We're taking them down. You heard it here first, all right? Everybody, you heard it here first. I made my declaration of war.
Remember where you were on this day.
Mark, you want to take us away to the next bullet point that you have there? Sorry.
Sorry.
I've been searching for a transitional phrase.
That's what I just gave you. That's my
No.
bit. That's what I'm best at.
Speaking of not throwing your life away, Zorro.
Yo, that was
we
pretty
gotta-
good.
His
I'll
life
give you that
away.
one.
Throwing his life away. Talking about people getting like their power up, we see Zorro kind of just like, figure something out and do it and be like, hey, if this doesn't work, I'm probably gonna die. So keep that in mind. Does it?
Here I go.
But it's the thing that that shows Luffy, oh, you can imbue strikes with more than just armament hockey. And he learns that you could put Conqueror's hockey into your strikes and your weapons. And it's just like, oh my god, I'm about to do a new thing. And it's like,
He's got a lot of that.
And I'm about to break.
And I'm about to
dude, I can't wait to see the Linkin Park AMVs when this fight is done in the anime. Oh my god.
And I'm about to break.
So, like,
I kind of want to do it now. I have no video editing skill at all, but I
just
wow,
send me
Molly, it's
send me
almost
scenes and time codes.
Yeah, it's almost like two of us have spent most of our lives doing that.
didn't
Mark.
say
Hi.
listen.
What's up, Kane?
Listen.
What up?
I make eye contact with me. I didn't say that you guys don't have the ability. I volunteered myself.
Are we gonna
to
have
do
an
it.
AMV contest?
Oh
And
my
then
god.
immediately
Molly
said-
cut.
Okay.
Molly cut.
Oh my god. Okay. That's
A Molly
something.
cut of the Zorro cut.
I'm gonna
Just
put
like-
a pin in this. I'm gonna put a pin in this because I think this would be something really cool to do down the line. Mark, let's make a note of this.
Yeah.
Let's see if we could do something down the line where we do with like us making ours and then the Yayo fans out there making theirs, and then we like show it all off. I think that'd be cool. That'd be awesome. Anyway,
Yeah. Let's get
let's get it started.
ire of every music group that holds all of the licenses in the world.
Whatever. Just post it on Vimeo.
Yeah, we're
It's
burning it all
fine.
down, so who cares?
I already declared war, Mark.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
already
like.
did it.
I'm reinforcing that. We're already burning everything down anyway.
This
So
is burning the flag.
Spotify.
It doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm.
Need those residuals. I can't pay rent.
I call pushing me away. Zoro uses his big thing. Sorry.
Asura.
Uh,
He uses this big thing and his sword.
And his swords.
Speaking of
How long?
How long?
I gotta hand it to Oda. One of the funniest frames.
People want to hand it to Zoro too.
Why he deserves more hands to hold more swords.
Yeah, because how long?
Because how long? How long has Oda been holding on to? I want to do a Wolfwood in One Piece.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
And so the frame of Sanji holding Zoro and it just being like, this is Trigun for right now.
Kaden,
this
Kaden,
frame, this
Kaden.
is Trigun.
You have to, Kaden, you have to understand when that chapter dropped for like a month, there were so many funny memes of those panels. So
I
many.
believe it.
actually, yeah, we
I
should
believe
find
it.
them.
Oh, that was so funny. Hang on, if I can Google it right now. But it was like relentless. I was actually terrified you would see it because it was just all over my feed.
I blocked all the tags for everything. Once again, the
crucifixion.
only things that were specifically spoiled for me were Okiku and Yamato, and I really do wish that they weren't spoiled for me because I feel like the expectations that I had for them based off of what people told me was much higher than what was actually on the page because I feel like there is a lot of fan overreading into things, especially when it comes to like getting a shred, a tiny little piece of meat of representation for marginalized groups. And so like I felt like as reading through Kiku and Yamato and their things, they're super cool. But what people put in my mind is not what was on the page. And I feel like it did me a disservice. And this is, again, what I think we talked about it last episode, talk about it again this episode. It speaks so much to just be able to sit down and read something and enjoy it yourself and enjoy it with fresh eyes and without expectations. And I think that is so important to like understanding, a fan culture versus a creator culture, as far as like what you're wanting to put on the page versus what people will interpret it as and then put their own interpretation on top of it. But what you're intending versus what is being read as, and then having to like kind of undercut the fans in a lot of way. And I feel like there's a lot of things that happened there that really ended up being a little bit unsavory. As far as everything, that's not the fans' fault or in any way, shape, or form. But like, as far as the expectations of the characters doing stuff and being around more, I kind of expected Yamato to be there immediately. And Yamato's coming in like what feels like at the end of things, and I've expected a lot like Kiku
we're in Act 3.
and I expected Kiku to do a lot more, and Kiku just kind of disappeared for a while, came back, and then lost an arm, and I'm just like, I expected them to have more meat to this in the story things, and Yamato has had some major story impacting that he's done, but not in the way that I expected based off of the way people told me about Yamato, if that makes any sense. So
It absolutely does. I mean, it speaks to fandom in general of, everybody has such different experiences, and reading something and taking something in is such a personal thing, and not just for like overarching story stuff and wanting you like for you not to get spoiled on stuff, but just for that is part of the reason why we started this, not only because of your absolutely insane predictions, which we love and hold dear. Stay tuned for next episode.
yeah, we got some doozies next episode. Don't worry.
But the thing of, we have one person who's watching the show for the first time and 3 people that have very different perspectives of watching the show from early on / the beginning. And I every episode, whenever we talk about different things, I learn about those different perspectives are important, and it's important to let people go into stuff to make their own perspective, and that's why we want to try to, especially for this section of Wano, we were like, okay, let's put different sections for different places because different things happen, blah, blah, like not just talk about it, but in general. When you had told us that stuff had been spoiled for you, it was really unfortunate, and mostly because those were people that don't know that you have a One Piece podcast and don't know that one of the major tenets of it is let Caden watch the show. and it's just unfortunate that like if you are somebody that they hold in any sort of esteem, they don't give you the ability to experience it on your own. And that's unfortunate.
Yes. Trust me when I say, as known person on interwebs, I get added with, and it's not, I don't think literally anybody who listens to the podcast has spoiled anything for me, which I really do appreciate. And we want to say that thank you for joining us on this journey. It's been a long one, and we're getting there. We're close to being caught up, and I'm
so
very
close.
excited. But it was always people who were just like, oh, hey, I heard Caden and One Piece about 6 months ago. Hey, here's spoilers for it, and I'm going to at you in it. I'm like, crap. And it really is like disheartening. Because like you try so hard to be. I recorded One Piece, and I still was able to keep myself unspoiled from things. I went into the studio. I went and I recorded my voice in One Piece. I'm in it. And I was able to keep myself unspoiled because the recording engineer made sure, because I explained it to him. And Bree was with me, who is also in One Piece. I was like, hey, we're trying to keep this on the down low, and we're trying to keep this quiet, and we're trying to keep this like in a bubble. So let's keep it clean. And so they were super understanding because they're fans of One Piece, and they're fans of the show, and they're also like cohabitors in this entertainment ecosystem. And there's a matter of respect of doing that stuff. And I'll be honest, it's why I got into She-Ra so late, is because like I just let everybody have their thing, and I was just like, blah, 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 watch it later. And then like when the final season was airing, I'm like, cool. And then I watched everything up to the final season, and then I watched the final season as it dropped. And it was great because I got to experience it on my own. and I got to put my own thoughts and feelings into it. And then I got to experience what other people's thoughts and feelings are. So I got to see from many perspectives, but I got to see my perspective clean and untainted by the outside noise.
It's also super frustrating of like, if you're an actual One Piece fan, like let's just say you're on the internet and you see somebody tweet like, hey, I'm watching One Piece for the first time. I got time during quarantine, so I might as well get into the show everybody likes. And your first response is, oh, let me spoil something happening this week in One Piece. Like, you are not a true fan. Like that, I'm sorry. Like, you
Call out
don't,
post.
you
A troll fan.
watch this show and you don't understand any of the meaning in it. Like, I don't know how to tell you that you lack empathy, but like you lack empathy and you need to really consider that. And like, even as a funny joke, even if it doesn't affect you in your day to day, you're just being a little troll on the internet. It's just like, man, Oda would hate you. Like, I'm looking at you specifically. Oda hates you.
Oda would hate you is a
Oda
real
does
good
hate
way to
you.
make things feel bad. Do you feel bad, random person who's not listening to the podcast and generally never did? But yeah, I think it's important to note like why we've done this and why we're here and why we made this podcast and what we've been able to like illustrate. And I think that oddly enough, this encapsulates a lot of what's happening in this arc is making sure that your story is being told properly. Because in the case of Odin, like what was told about him and what he experienced are two very different things. And that speaks to how Yamato exists as a person now. And it's just like, I'm Kozuki Odin, and I'm going to be carrying the torch for Kozuki Odin. And I may be the son of Kaido, but like, I heard Odin's story from Odin. I heard it from Odin. And I experienced it by myself. And it shaped who I am as a person. And it made me be confident in who I am today. And that says so much about, one, the power of media, the power of storytelling, and the power of being able to resonate. And look at how I'm tying it into the story of how we got into the podcast, to how the story that's going on. Look at me go. But I think that it's important. And I think that it's important to this particular arc because, you know, we had Odin, you know, Odin's whole thing is like, he's this, lays about loser. He does whatever he wants. He's a rough and tumble kind of weirdo, and nobody really knows what he wants to do. And he has no heart and soul. And then you have Odin's journal that speaks on Odin's dreams and Odin's journey and Odin's hopes and Odin's love and Odin's ambitions and Odin's ultimate goal. And then Yamato gets it. And Yamato's just like, I am Kozuki Odin. And it's like, oh yeah, baby. I love it. Love that.
Hell yes.
You can be Kozuki Odin if you want to.
As a treat.
As a exactly.
See, that's what makes Yamato cool to me. That's what makes Yamato cool to me. Not the fact that Yamato turns into a freaking wolf. How that was kept secret from me. How that a snow wolf. How that was kept from me. The snow wolf woman. How you guys kept it from me that there was a snow wolf man in One Piece. It's really cool. He's really cool.
I desperately need the record to show that Caden's partner potentially could have spoiled that for Caden. Because sometimes Sam just sees cool fan art with no context, and absolutely
Sam knows to keep this stuff from me. If he sees something cool, he still keeps it from. Well, the thing is like, listen, he still kept.
You are not hearing what I'm telling you.
Didn't see it.
You're not hearing what I'm telling you. Yeah, you did see it because I immediately said, Sam, delete that. What are you doing?
The best part is he was just like, Caden didn't see. Caden doesn't know. Caden doesn't know.
He just keeps winning. He just keeps winning.
He can't
stop him. He's unstoppable. The unstoppable Sam.
Before we talk about Yamato upstairs, I wanted to shout out our boy Caesar Clown.
Why?
Yeah, no,
Because-
technically, yes. Shouting out Caesar Clown is appropriate here.
Chopper let Caesar look at the Rumble Ball formula, and he was like, "Hey, I could make this a little bit better." And the reason why Chopper turns into a tiny little adorable old man is because of the increase of efficacy of the Rumble Ball going up to a 30-minute duration. He now has to
Leveling up.
leveling up, but now he
Yeah, leveling
also,
up,
similar to like Gear 3, he also like turns into a little baby man, and
Little baby
I blame
grandpa.
Caesar for that. It's Caesar's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's cute though.
And I love the fact that he has a nurse like literally hold him over stuff, just like
So
I
tiny.
can't move, I'm too small, I'm just a
too
baby.
little.
I got little baby hooves.
I'm too little.
I'm just a little tiny
I
man.
talk like this.
These old whippersnappers.
Oh, dang it. I ate the Benjamin Button ball.
100%.
More balls to contend with. Hey,
So many balls, baby.
part of the reason why Yamato steps up is because Luffy tries the thing that he learned from his big brother Zoro, and
It works.
it works, but then he also is like, "Welp, I used too much energy," falls into the ocean,
Yeah.
gets caught by the Heart Pirates. Thank God.
Oh, he can like. I feel like we've talked about this before, but Momonosuke being able to hear like the everything,
The voice of all
the
things.
voice of all things, like similar to like Sabo,
Mantra.
not Sabo, Kobe.
Sabo.
Kobe
Yeah.
and the little girl from Skypiea. Don't skip Skypiea.
Aisa?
Scorpia.
And Luffy.
Was that her name, Aisa?
I think it was Aisa. Yeah. Ow, look
True
at you.
Fan.
That
Do I get a
was
point?
your
Do I get a
episode.
point?
Yeah.
I'll
Oh,
get-
geez, I have to update the scores.
Nice.
Of course.
It is very interesting to see that Momo can hear Luffy.
It's and like literally like that's the big thing. The big thing is just like Luffy says don't stop. Luffy's gonna be fine. Luffy says keep going. Luffy needs you to keep going, and everybody's just like, all right, let's go. Thank you.
And he's still on that like crucifixion stand thing.
Yeah,
No, not by then. He was free by then.
Oh, right.
He's good
Yeah.
He's with
He's out.
Yamato.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, he's
because
with, yeah.
that's where we
Yama
see
bro.
the introduction of like, hey, hey, little bro, I'm Yamato. I'm Kozuki Odin. Here is Odin's journal. It's like here's the story. It's like
This is
uh-oh,
important.
this is going to make you cry.
This is the story of your dad.
Now cry a river, you'll feel so sad.
I wish we could put all of that as a title, but it's
We
so
have a
long.
lot. We have a lot of AMVs we got to do now.
The thing that made Luffy's that we didn't mention that Lin almost fell into the ocean, and that was part of her reascending back up to the top before getting stopped by Law and Kid,
That
and
would've been
then
good.
Killer is taking on the Straw Man, and then Basil Hawkins, and Fukurokuju is taking on Raizo, and
Amazing.
Jack is like there's so much splitting off in one-on-one fights. It's insane. I don't like it.
You also see a bunch of insane attacks.
Yes. We see Sanji's leg. Oh, that was another thing that became a meme. The frame of Sanji and Zoro attacking King and Queen, where Sanji's leg just goes full brrr, and he like people turned him into a boomerang and like threw him around. It was really really silly. But Momo's big Momoment.
Moment. That's got no. I'm putting my.
That's
my hat
that's
in
got to
the
be
ring.
it because
That's
there's
the title.
more. Yeah, this is
Momo's
It is
big
Momo.
Momoment.
big moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
Was
agree.
deciding to sacrifice his childhood because Luffy's like, you need to fly me back up there, and you're too small.
You're too little.
You're too little. So Shinobu
That's so cool. I don't know. I don't know if until this moment we knew that she had a devil fruit. Like
we
they
knew
just
she
threw that
she
out
talked
there.
about having an ability, but it was one of those things where it's like, oh, it's a devil fruit.
Like she ended up clearing out some like ground for them to hide in when Kaido first blasted the top of the old palace mountain.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't have any context for how she did that.
They kind of like the subcontext was like, yeah, well, she is a bewitching.
ninja.
That's just they do that. That's just one of the they say nee and they do that. They find holes in the ground. That's what they
Okay.
do.
I don't know
but
if that's
she-
true.
She
How many
aged the
ninjas have you
soil,
met, Molly?
I guess.
I'm
So
sorry. On
many.
public record, yeah, we had a meeting at the law firm this morning.
Looking
I
at
don't know
Mark,
if I trust your law firm because you guys have been doing some rank like.
I mean,
Why?
business is booming. That's all I'm
Business,
saying.
I don't know if
Business?
that's true. Please
Business-
do not contact them for legal help.
They keep getting sued and they're litigating for each other's lawsuits.
It's the perfect strategy.
It's the perfect crimeagy.
Strategy.
Yeah.
It's the perfect extremity. Speaking of nope.
But even like in that
Go on,
scene,
Mark.
Speaking of
though-
extremities, how long?
How long?
How long? No, but I love that like the context for this of like you got to do it, and she's like, listen, I know I've had this thing for years, but the best, like at most of what I've done with this is like made not ripe fruit ripe. Like I've barely used this, and you want me to just like do this to you? And it's like, wow, yeah, I guess there are people out there who just are cursed by a devil fruit and are like, I don't really need it. Like, I don't need to spend my life being a rubber man.
Big dragon. Big dragon.
Big
Pink
dragon.
dragon. So cute. I can't believe I feel so bad for Momonosuke. I feel so bad. As somebody who had their childhood robbed from them, I feel so bad for Momonosuke. It hurt. It hurt to see him willingly do that for somebody else's sake.
Childhood for his country.
And the thing is like for a chance. It's not even for the thing. It's for the
not a
chance.
guarantee.
It's not a guarantee. And then he's still afraid of heights.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's still afraid of heights.
Flying up with his eyes just like stapled shut. Just like help.
Guy.
It's cold. Why is it? He's just a little big guy.
He was constantly screaming,
Little guy. He's hoping that like Luffy will just take the wheel at this point.
One of my favorite. I loved this casting choice of at least in Japanese. I don't know who his dub actor is. 28-year-old Momo is voiced by Hiro Shimono, who also voices Zenitsu in Demon Slayer.
That's
Oh.
I'm like, that's like hearing the voice on the show. I was just like, wait a minute. I know that nervous panic. But the crux of this section is the ridiculous fight and like family squabble between father and son, and the interesting thing of you talked earlier about like humanizing or just like learning more about the villains, and with Kaido being like so accepting of like or rather being too accepting of who Yamato is. The thing of like, look, yes, you're my son. You are also an Oni and my son. No one is going to accept you for anything other than that, and I'm going to beat that reality into you until you die. You have to learn this harsh reality of the world. And it's like, hey, can you just be my dad? No. Bonk.
Yeah, that was relatable.
Also, he's super wrong. Yamato made friends outside the demon family. Okay.
But also, Yamato knows Bonk too.
Yeah, Yamato
learned it from watching you.
Yeah.
What really sucked though was just like you said it there, Molly. It's like Yamato made friends outside of that, and then what happened to them is exactly what Kaido asked. It's like, what happened to them? Oh yeah, you did make friends. Those people who died. And it's like, oh,
Those people I killed.
it's like,
Those people I
man.
killed to make a
Well,
point.
the thing is it's not even that. It's like, well, there was also Ace, and then it's like, oh, right.
It's like for somebody who
Guess
we
is still
don't
dead.
get to know within like the first 100 chapters of this arc and like meet him later on, and still like we get the meat of who he is, and like, you know, like kind of throw away chapters of like, oh yeah, here's some context for this, here's some context for that, Yamato was also there for this, Yamato was also there for that, of just like Yamato has never stopped fighting. Like Yamato has fought
Literally.
since the moment Odin boiled. Like he has never stopped fighting.
Yep.
And it's just like, doesn't matter if his friends are alive or dead. Like he is just going to he's carried this crux this whole time, waiting for Luffy to appear. Like he carried it until he met Ace. He carried a whole different thing until he met Ace, and then Ace gave him hope of like, one day my little brother is going to be here, and there's no way he would know it, but quotes word for word whatever like Roger said written in Odin's journal. And it's just like, this is a sign. This is a sign that I have to keep going. Like even in the scene of like that they show of Yamato seeing Ace's Fever card burn up, and his like dad being like, give up, Yamato, just come with us, like it doesn't have to be this way, and him still being like, no. It's just like, you're so cool, Yamato, you're so cool.
He's so cool.
And
Yeah.
like part of this too is we see like a couple of the people that did eventually like help Yamato survive.
Oh,
Did we see the 3 samurai in this, or was that later?
looks like Hayden for confirmation.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Was there like a flashback of like when Yamato was really little?
In
Yeah.
prison with 3
prison with
other
Grace, yeah.
Wano with 3 Wano samurai?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like them
That was what I was referring to.
that was what I was referring to. Them imparting the like, look, if we feed you and you are carrying the will of Odin and you're going to be Odin, then we're going to be there on that day when
It's
20 years
so
from the future.
messed up though, where his dad's like, oh yeah, you don't want to be my son? Cool, let me lock you with these people who hate me and thus will probably try to kill you, my son. And then being
Been
like,
there, done that.
being like super swag ever of like, hey kid, you okay? Hey.
And that
here,
goes back to
here's
Lin
some
being
food.
like, did Kaido teach you this? Like to
Yeah,
not respect
exactly.
children or like whatever?
Yeah. But just like them to be like, hey kid, you hungry? Here you go. And Yamato being like, are you sure? Like, aren't you guys gonna get hungry? And they're like, ha! Samurais don't get hungry, kid. And it's like, oh, so cool.
That's really cool. Can I be a samurai if I get hungry? And it's like,
Ugh,
oh, this kid.
ugh.
And then that goes back to Tama and
Yeah.
Konoichi. Like there's so much that gets there's so much that gets set up and paid off on top of stuff that has been set up and paid off. Like we're getting to that point where we're learning the answers to all of these questions that we've had, but we're also getting new questions, and we're staring at that 5-year time limit like, what are you doing, bud? You keep giving us new stuff. What are you thinking about?
He's like, oh yeah,
Um,
one more thing. Oh yeah, one more thing. Wait.
Wait.
One more thing. Wait.
One
One
more
more
thing.
thing.
And we started the episode recommending watching the anime. Highly recommend episode 1049, which I have the title here. It's called Luffy Soars: Revenge Against the Beasts. It's directed by Yusuke Suzuki, and in a similar thing of like each action set piece has like a different vibe, and just you feel how powerful each strike is. The final moments of this episode of Luffy and Yamato coming together for an attack as Luffy gets back onto the roof is just one of the coolest. Like, makes such a good argument for like, oh, you think anime is just cartoons? It's like, no, this stuff is art. Like, check this awesome stuff out that these people are pushing the entire art form forward. It's awesome. Oh my god.
The fans
It's
of
so
the
good.
show, part of the
Oh.
ship, part of the crew. Fans of the show make it good because they're fans of the show.
Exactly. And so it's like, how are we going to go? Can we get much higher? I believe
It's
is
a
what I'm
ship
asking.
of Theseus where you replace all the parts with parts that are fans of the ship of Theseus.
I do want to say I remember the moment that we see Yamato's devil fruit, and I remember we looked it up because we were like, what is it? Like, what could this possibly be? And I need to find out like the actual word for it.
I have the terminology, but I don't know if it was given. Was it given? Because that's technically a spoiler.
I know, but
Let's hold on to it then.
Yeah, let's hold on to it. Either way, badass Snow Wolf.
Yeah, really cool.
Pretty cool.
It's relevant to everything Yamato's doing in this arc. It ties it all together. I'm shaking my desk so hard.
Just
Hey Molly, are you on Tumblr?
No.
Okay, cool. Totally not on Tumblr, Molly. I just saw you reblog something.
Oh, are you on Tumblr?
Yeah.
Hey Al, what do you want to talk about?
So there's this show called One Piece.
Cool, let's go with that.
Molly reblogging Yamato and Ace art together.
I was like,
let me say this. Let me say this. I said something in Discord earlier, and Molly's just like, you understand me so much. And I censored Molly there, but you can understand that there was an F in there because Molly is Molly. And I said, Yamato definitely would have made Ace his bride if Ace didn't die. And Molly's just like, you understand me so much.
You understand me at such a deep level.
I mean, I also like that makes sense to me.
Mark's
Okay,
like,
but yeah,
hey,
but you
I'm here
didn't say
too.
that though.
No, true. I'm usually I'm not like
You
I'm
guys
not like an
usually
active shipper, but it's one of those things where it's like, that would make sense
It's just
to me.
energy. It's just
Yeah,
energy.
exactly.
It has nothing to do with shipping. It has everything to do with, it's like, Yamato would have just be like, yeah, that's my wife, Ace. And Ace would be like, yeah, that's my husband. It's like, are they married? No.
But they should
That's
be.
just how they refer to each other. You got to catch up, man.
Listen. Let's just listen. It's fine.
Did Molly turn her microphone around?
You got really quiet.
You got really
I was not
Molly's sweaty.
talking into the mic.
You also didn't talk about Ace's design in the animation at all.
I didn't? Are
No.
you sure? Okay. No, it's like, well, it's the episode we keep referring to with Megumi, the
10-15.
director. Yeah, where it's just like their drawing style is just like, it's so like it's the best kind of style to have in terms of animating. It's easier to animate details when they're more of a shape because that's easier to do a turn. It's easier to like figure
Mhm.
stuff out. It's just like, and it simplifies it. But honestly, it simplifies the details you're trying to go for. And their art style is just so perfect. And it's like, I think we've seen Ace in so many different types of bodies. Like, I don't know how to say that in a better way, but like the first time we see Ace, he looks his age. Like he's ripped, but he's scrawny ripped. Like he is very much like what, 19, 20? He very
If
much
that.
looks like he's
If
just a
that,
skinny
yeah.
guy, man. He's just a skinny guy.
Why
And then
He's
we
a twink.
see him. We see him in Marineford, and then Oda's just all in on the neck juice. Like the Y juice is just crazy
Neck
that arc.
juice.
And then
I mean,
we get back.
It's dry in the
now-
desert. There's not a lot of juice there.
Yeah. But then we get to these flashbacks where I think Oda does a good job of drawing, because it's like we see Ace again before he meets Whitebeard, and then we see like a couple clips of like after when he's like with Whitebeard. But like I think he does a good job of like properly aging him in the manga. But like in this episode, they just draw him so shapely. Like his boobs
He's
are
so
so
shaped.
circly. He's so circly, dude, and I'm into it. You're just so circly. I could identify him by his tits alone.
I'm glad you could say it so succinctly.
I don't know the meaning of the word.
I'm sure you
Whatever
don't.
that thing you said was.
Unless it was an insult, I agree. Before we wrap this up, was there anything else? I mean, we didn't really talk about Frankie versus Sasaki, and Sasaki being like a helicopter triceracopter, which was like robot versus dinosaur was like the coolest, most Saturday morning thing in the world.
Very Al energy in that entire scene.
I was fed that fight.
And
Al could have boarded that episode. They could have had Al board it.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
is this a Sanji fight? Sorry.
No, not that
No.
one. I was gonna say, and this isn't even the most
What
ridiculous.
was that show called? Prehysteria?
Prehysteria.
Did
I'm
you
only
do a
thinking
show,
of
Al?
Hysteria.
Oh no.
Did
That's
you do
a-
a show?
Prehysteria was the movie about the tiny dinosaurs. There was another show that was like a Saturday morning cartoon with like it was kind of like Street Sharks but with dinosaurs.
Oh,
Extreme
Jossum.
Dinosaurs?
Jossum?
Was it Extreme Dinosaurs?
Extreme Dinosaurs. The show that you're talking about is Extreme Dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, it gave me flashbacks and I was happy.
I think so. I mean, those are all of the notes that I have, but a lot so much, if you could. Is there
Enough
anything
is
else
too much.
that anybody? You're right. Is there anything else that anybody wanted to talk about before we take a break for the night?
Also, when I talk about Yamato's devil fruit, but I'll wait and for two.
I think it's better to wait till later. Because we talked a lot about everything, and I think because there's a lot of fight happening right now, and I have an anticipation that we're gonna get into more fighting. It'll be cool to talk about.
What makes you say that?
Oh, I don't know.
God, we're finally here. We can finally talk about Yama, bro. So happy. He's so cool.
Yama bro is
My
cool.
boy, he him. My boy.
My boy, he him.
Yo, you gotta meet my boy, he him.
Gotta be my boy, he him.
My boy, he him.
So good. Well, then I guess if we're gonna maintain the same thing that we said last time of like, if there's anything that you want us to talk about in more detail, first of all, wait for us to finish Wano.
We're getting there. Don't
Put a
worry.
pin in it. Make a list.
Bit by
And
bit.
if
You can add us on social media.
You
I
can't.
love you guys.
At the Yayo accounts.
I love that you guys are saying this right now, knowing that by the time this episode comes out, we will for sure be done with it.
We will be for sure be done. But the thing is like we will for sure be done by the time you're hearing this. So please add us on the social media accounts.
Oh, that's
for
true.
real.
I guess I forgot about how time works.
Yeah, me too,
It
man.
happens to me all the time, dude.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You're in a safe space.
For real.
all that blacking out.
You're right. I blacked out for about 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 29 seconds.
And I'm about to break.
I'm about to.
Hey, we should do an AMV contest.
Shut up. We will though.
Other than that, we were talking about like the super ridiculously beautifully animated episodes and maybe doing like
Oh yeah,
commentary.
you want Ella and I to talk about in detail?
Yeah, do you want team board partners to talk about certain animation stuff in detail? Let us know by hitting us up on socials, whether individually or as the team. But if you want to hit everybody up individually, you can follow them across their various social medias that they will give you presently, starting with Caden.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to come to me first. Hi, you can find me on Blue Sky and Threads and Tumblr and Twitch, Caden Jensen, and Instagram as well. Caden Jensen on all those things, on pretty much everything. You can find me pretty much anywhere at Caden Jensen, except for TikTok. That's real Caden Jensen because somebody took my name.
Rude.
I know.
Hey, Al.
Sorry.
How rude
No,
have
that's-
people been to you?
I mean, when have they not?
Fair.
But you can find me on the internet to yell at me for all the dumb things I say. At Al McClellan Jr. ALMCCLELLANDJR. Good luck.
Good luck.
Please don't make me cry.
Just watch 10:15 again.
Oh, okay.
You can find me across all social media at Mark B. Donica, Captain.
You did that was short and sweet. I wasn't ready. You can find me on Tumblr, Molly Flood, Molly K Flood, and we have a Yayo Tuck Show Tumblr. So come follow us there. We got some good memes, some good fan arts that we wrote a blog. I mean, as we've established, like every episode for the last 3 episodes, Kaden and I are on Tumblr. So you usually can tell when we're recording because the Yayo Tuck Show Tumblr starts getting updated.
Molly is unshackled by new story elements that we can post about.
Yes, immediately.
You can also follow us on, we've been using Instagram. We're also on Threads and Twitch. We're going to be, once we get done with Wano, like once we get past the certain thing of Wano.
You guys are already watching us on Twitch.
Yeah, by this point,
we're way back on Twitch.
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot how time works again.
But that's why I was reminding you. Okay, I got you.
Kate and I appreciate you. I appreciate
you know what? You too, Mark.
Hey, hey, hold on. Turns to camera. We have a lot of fun here on Yayo Talk Show. We want to let you know we love each other.
Yeah, we really do. We really do.
A lot. We got through a lot. We got through a lot of things in the world and personal lives with each other, and the fact that we're so close to a point that we're kind of dreaming about years ago. Is it's phenomenal.
Keep going, Mark. I like
it. I love y'all, and I'm happy to be here with you.
It's about the story we're telling together that we're going to be sharing with everybody. We hope you pick up this podcast later and relive it and continue to enjoy it with us, because much like Kozuki Oden, we're writing down our journey as we go.
Who lives, who dies, who tells your story.
Yeah, there you go. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
going
thing.
Along with how most arcs and sagas have ended. Now that you've listened to the episode, you've joined our grand fleet. With that comes the responsibility of telling your friends, leaving a comment, following us all over social media at Yayo Talk Show. And hold on, let me just grab your head real quick. I can't stress this enough. Letting Caden watch the show in one piece.
Wow, he got uncomfortably close.
You got it, huh? You got it. So come aboard, and we'll see you next time on Yayo Talk Show.
Yo.
I'm a manager at Applebee's.
Talking about One Piece.